Welcome to Conversations. My name is Suresh Kochattal. What would it take to chase a dream? Ask Ashish Chakravarty, the founder of the Ping Pong at Spas Table Tennis Academy in Yapral, Secunderabad. He founded this academy in January 2020, and having gone through many trials and tribulations, he is finally enabling triumphs. After having gone through the lockdown period, for example, the academy learned a lot of lessons. For one, it brought in professional coaches to the Yapral Academy, which is in Secunderabad. Then Ashish realized that he needed to do more. He just couldn't continue with one academy because there is such a big city like Hyderabad, Secunderabad, you needed more of them. So he set up the second academy at Kukatpally, and there again he replicated the same model, bringing in professional coaches to train students. And sure enough, now Ping Pong at Spas has 5 coaches along the training to about 50 students in both the academies put together. After the academy resumed the professional training of young students a couple of years ago, 4 students from this academy actually made it in the Telangana state championships. Now imagine, this is a state ranking championship and not many had actually made it before that. This was over 2 years ago. And now that number has grown from 4 to 30 students this year. Ashish definitely is pushing it really hard to make it happen. And not just children from just say privileged backgrounds, not all of them are, most of them are from middle class background. But Ping Pong at Spas has also adopted a few underprivileged children. And 2 of them in fact participated in both the state and national ranking tournaments. They are kids of building a watchman's son and daughter in a nearby building. Imagine they participating in the state and national ranking championship, having been sponsored by the academy totally. Of course, these nationals happens across various cities in India, and the complete cost of travel for all these children who are underprivileged are taken care. In fact, the food, stay, equipment, attire, shoes, everything is borne by the academy. That shows that it's not just money that Ashish is chasing or fame. He is chasing a dream of making underprivileged children also perform to the optimum level. This year, in fact, 4 students from the Ping Pong at Spas Academy will be participating in the state and national ranking competitions. And sure enough, one can see a smile on the face of Ashish when he says this, because I've seen him going through real tough times, having chucked up a very, very cushy corporate lifestyle to enter into something like this. The Ping Pong at Spas Academy has the privilege of a few renowned corporate brands, and this is very essential because to run something like this requires real support. Freedom Oil, Rockwell Industries, Bharathi Cement are among other corporates who support them in this endeavor. And I'm sure those watching this video, many corporate honchos, should actually loosen their purse strings and help Ashish take this academy to the next level by getting hundreds of students out of Hyderabad to kind of make it to the state and of course a few to the national level too. Ping Pong Academy strives towards maximizing the participation and representation India in the international competition. Students are being trained and groomed in this direction with utmost passion and focus. Founder of Ping Pong Table Tennis Academy, Ashish Chakravarty, talks to us at SA Media about how he conceptualized this academy, this dream or venture of his, and how he has taken it ahead. And of course, what is the road ahead? Ashish, now as I say, the ball is in your court. Let me start with some questions. And this is the first question that I have for you. How did you dream up this? I mean, how did you take this risk like this of kind of chucking a life which gives you a steady income and getting into starting a table tennis academy? How did this all begin?
Hi Suresh, it's nice to have you here at our academy after a long time. I think it's been more than a year and a half that we last met, and yeah, I would probably just take you through the journey in brief and then talk about what we would be doing in future. We started this academy in 2020 Jan without knowing that there would be a lockdown happening soon after we start. So it was a couple of friends who got together and all had this passion to promote sports We chose table tennis because one, particular sport does not require much of space, and moreover, it's an indoor game. And what happens in an indoor game is it's a 365 days sport. Especially the seasons don't interrupt this sport. So that was another reason. And we also realized that Telangana has quite a few academies here who are doing a good job, but it requires much more than what it is today. So these are the 2-3 aspects we considered when we chose table tennis as a sport which had to be promoted. So we started in Jan, and then post which lockdowns happened, and then we closed and reopened and relaunched. We had issues with coaches then as well, because we did not have consistency for those 1.5 years or 2 years. And post that period, that's when we actually, by then we had enough time to learn as well about the sport, about which are the states which are doing well, and which are the pockets which would help us get good coaches. So that's how we reached out to Bengal. Bengal has been the hub of table tennis apart from Gujarat, which is doing a good job, Tamil Nadu, which is also doing a great job, and so is Maharashtra. So that's how we reached out to a couple of coaches in Bengal, and we got a couple of them here. They came at a certain price, I would say, which was a little coincidence. I would want to narrate this story as well. What happened was, when we got them here, of course we wanted to get them at a higher price, because ultimately they are young coaches who are leaving their homes and coming here. So we didn't want to kind of use their service and not pay them enough, which probably happens in other states or in Bengal in particular. So we committed a higher salary without even having any backup for the kind of funds we would require. But as luck would have it, we had a brand called Freedom Oil which came to our rescue then, and that was a huge breather for us for that period. And that saved us, and that was the time where we got that opportunity to build this academy as such. Otherwise we used to call it a facility earlier. So since then we started calling it as an academy, and then the coaches have done a phenomenal job. It's been 2.5 years that they're here in Hyderabad, and since then they've been doing a phenomenal job. And we picked up children who are 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years old. And we also have a few underprivileged children or less privileged children who have been picked by us, and they've been training them as well. So it has been a rigorous journey, I would say, for the last 2.5 years. Just to give you some numbers, when they had come here to Hyderabad, we had around 4 of our students participating in the state ranking tournament. The next year we grew to around 14, and this year it's around 28 to 30. So, which only goes to say that the kind of work we have done, or rather I would give the credit to the coaches, they have been working very hard day in, day out to ensure that the children not only get trained but also get disciplined in the sport, because sport, of course, the most important part of the sport is discipline. So every aspect of the game has been taken care of. We have also added another fitness coach now in the last 6 months. So the children take care of we take care of their fitness, we take care of their training as well. And of course, going forward, the cost would further go up, because we would require a nutritionist, we would require a mental coach or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So this is one sport which I felt was not very expensive, but yes, this also has a lot of cost, because the paddle which you're seeing in my hand, the blade, the ply itself, an average cost is ranges from 12,000 to 18,000 for a mediocre player, and the rubbers keep changing. Every rubber, each side rubber is around 3,000 to 5,000 approximate cost, and the amount of hours they put in, they have to be changed every maybe 3 months or so. So that's a recurring cost as well. Each ball is 150 rupees, so it costs a lot. So that has been my journey so far. Yeah, going forward, what we intend to do is, we have 2 academies now, one in Kukatpally and this is the one. Kukatpally is 3 years old, this is 4.5 years old. So both put together, we have close to around 50 children who get trained. And going forward, yes, we would like to add more number of coaches so that the efficiency improves, the number of children getting trained get more table time. And also maybe we would add another academy somewhere in between in Secunderabad, so that we also fill in the pockets wherever there is a.
Ashish, we know that most of the children these days are stuck into the IIT, JEEs, NEET and other competitive exams. So although they are on their phones watching some videos, playing some games and all that. But very few students, very few children, and of course more their parents actually go out and say, let my kid play a game. Let my kid get out of the rut of this slave schools they are put in and do play sports like badminton or table tennis or even cricket for that matter. Cricket, of course, has a natural following. But something like table tennis, how do you think your parents and children have taken to this, and how has been the response?
The initial days, it is still, I'm not saying that we have overcome that challenge. We have to continuously keep counseling parents. We have to continuously keep drilling in their minds that, this is equally important, because while studies is important, while going to school and attending tuitions is important, it is equally important to have their body, the child's body fit and healthy, because that's where they're going to live in, that's where the child lives in. And then if that is not fit, that is not healthy enough, then what would they do with their education in their future? Because if you see also 15 years of our initial days of our life, or our, we give it away to our school, learning physics, chemistry, maths, geography, biology, not knowing which would be helpful to us in future. But at the same time, parallelly, if you also have one sport at least picked and work on it, and then get trained on it, it also gives a lot of learning we get a lot of learning from there as well. So we need to keep drilling in these ideas into the parents' mind, because of course for parents also it's not very easy. Most of them are middle class parents, and then both husband and wife these days work. They are also ambitious, so they really work hard to ensure that the family is kept well, and then the children also grow better and healthier. So somebody has to keep telling them this, and I'm sure these days through the media and the social media especially, they get a lot of learnings from there as well. Of course, in the last maybe 10 years or so, sports has become important as well in India, and that reflects in the medals what we are getting in the Commonwealth Games or the Asian Games. Hopefully we'll get better numbers in the Paris Olympics as well. So sports has taken the front seat now. I hope this goes further. This is something which would be the future which we should look up to.
Thank you, Ashish. Now let me ask you a very, very obvious question, and I asked you this umpteen number of times off the record. You left a corporate life kind of in a media. You were working in the media. You worked in the organization where I worked too. And you were running a FM channel. You were the head of it in Hyderabad. You chucked it all that and said, no, let me do something which is out of the ordinary. How did your family take it? I mean, in fact, how did your friends take it? And of course, what made you take that risk? Looking back, is it worth it, or was it any regrets in what you did?
Well, initially it kept, lingering in my mind if it was the right or the wrong decision, but I have of late learned to live with it, and I can tell you today that there's no regrets of leaving the corporate life. Of course, I miss it, no doubts about it. The corporate life has taught me a lot. 25 years of my corporate life, I built my career there. So whatever learnings I got from there, I'm trying to inculcate that here in this. Though I don't play table tennis myself, I don't train myself. So whichever way is possible, I try to get in that experience here and then support the system here. Now, while the coaches, see, it's a coach and a student-centric place. I have no role here. My role is to take care of the administration, the marketing, and then getting somebody to fund the underprivileged children here we have. So all that my corporate life I've done, I'm doing it here in a small way, of course. The monies are not as big as what it was in the corporate life. So, of course, no regrets at all as far as the corporate life, leaving behind the corporate life is concerned.
I agree with you, Ashish. Not many would take this risk. I would not take this risk of throwing it all up and then say, let me start a table tennis academy or anything else in sports. Wonderful. I appreciate you for that risk that you took. But let's now get on to the brass tacks. Sports, especially over the last decade, we have seen has acquired enormous proportions. Khelo India, Government of India funds, private funds coming into sports. There are a lot of companies pumping in money. State governments are doing the bit. Orissa, for example, Assam. They're spending huge amounts of money in attracting various sports persons to their academies in their states. What do you think changed in the last 10 years today that sports has become a lucrative career itself? I mean, not many children today will actually give it all up because they realize that there's something to be made in sports too. So maybe academics is there, but sports is also there. What's your take on how to make a career in sports? Say, not everybody can become a PV Sindhu or, as you said, Virat Kohli, but they can get somewhere, isn't it? So what's your take on this?
It's a complete ecosystem which works towards any change for that matter. It is just not the player himself or herself. It is not just the parents. It is just not the school. So in our academy, what we do is every child who comes here, we try and see that everybody involved in this ecosystem are communicated, are synergized, because ultimately for the child it's a parent, and then in school it's the teacher or the principal. So we keep communicating with them as well to ensure that the child gets enough time to practice. Likewise, I'm sure the government has done their bit also in a larger manner, I would say, in a larger way, and especially the central government, I would say. I don't know how much the state government has done so far. I don't see them active on the sports front here, but however, I hope they would learn their lessons as well, and then also kind of come forward to encourage sports people, not only when they win a medal in the Olympics or the Asian Games or any other big platform. For them, it is very important to come forward at the budding stage when the child is actually learning, training. That's when the support is required. So the complete ecosystem has changed over a period of time. I'm sure it will further change, and the parents also have started understanding the importance of sports, thanks to the media again, which has brought in all these champions on the forefront and then showcased them, told their stories to the people. We have had some movies also talking about how these champions struggled in their life, and then what was the outcome of the whole effort they put in.
Yes, Ashish, and as we end this conversation, the last question to you, which is very obvious, would be, what's the road ahead? 2 academies in Hyderabad, 5 coaches, I think 50 odd students that you have in the academies. Do you think the time has come for you to grow beyond these 2 academies into other geographical areas of Hyderabad before you even venture into other cities? Let's talk about Hyderabad, Secunderabad as such. What would take you to go to this next level now? What's the road ahead looking like?
Road ahead, ultimately we would, personally if you ask me, I would want my children here from our academy to represent India. That's the maximum I expect at least. Beyond that, I don't really know. I just hope that every child, ultimately not everybody would become a champion, but if we can help them have a champion mindset, we have done our job. Because not everybody becomes a champion. Becoming a champion means winning, the art of learning to win time and again. Not everybody would be that. Not everybody would become PV Sindhu, or not everybody would become Sachin Tendulkar. But there are others who are also there, and there are others also whose stories are interesting. And there's a struggle in everybody's life, and they have overcome that. So if you can add a little value to every child here when they grow up, they may not continue playing probably after 10 years or 8 years or 5 years or whatever. But if they have got some learning from here, how to be resilient, how to add value to the society we live in, I think we have done a job.
Thank you, Ashish, for answering all of.
Thank you, Suresh. Thanks a ton.
I'm sure parents who are watching this video, and especially in the areas where Ashish's academies are there, which is Yapral, which is near Sainikpuri in Secunderabad, another at Kukatpally on the other side, which borders High Tech City and other parts of the city, would actually start thinking, why not table tennis? Yes, why not? And that's a good question to ask. Maybe take a child, and maybe even you can play a game of tennis, table tennis that is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Jai Hind.